to get your fix. Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready? Are you ready to get your fix? Are you ready to get your fix?
With the Wicks here on this beautiful Tuesday, July 12th, 2022, and welcome to the show, whether that's on Facebook or on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, hit that like and the share and follow the page. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe as well as the notification button. That way you'll be notified every time we go live or drop a video. So hopefully you all had a great night last night. I know I just sat around and did whatever the hell I wanted to do, kind of relaxed. Got a little sunburn from coaching the old flag football, but it is what it is. We had a blast doing it. But we're back here today to talk about the NFL. Today's kind of a loaded day. It's a loaded show. A lot has been happening around the National Football League today. Like, for instance, the Houston Texans unveiling a new helmet that they will debut this season. We'll get to that in just a few moments because it looks awesome, folks. We'll then jump over to the Baker Mayfield introductory press conference, in which was held this afternoon. Interesting comments, but I think it was more mature comments than anything, and we'll dive into that, what he actually said, and give you my two thoughts on Baker being a Carolina Panther. Then we'll jump over to Le'Veon Bell. Yeah, we all know he's boxing Adrian Peterson on, I believe it's like August 3rd or something like that. It's somewhere in August on the Jake Paul card. But this isn't about that fight. This is about, boxing and the National Football League. He had an interesting comment today, which we'll talk about towards the end of the show. And last but not least, the New England Patriots just traded away wide receiver N'Keal Harry, in which I believed was going to happen at some point in time. So with that being said, let's get right to it. Are you ready to get your fix? So probably the biggest news today just happens to be the fact that the Houston Texans have added a new helmet to their arsenal. This new helmet is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Here's a first glimpse at this new Houston Texans helmet. I mean, it is beautiful, folks. I absolutely love this. As soon as I seen it today earlier, while I was at my other job, I was just like, ooh, they nailed it. They absolutely nailed this. I would love to see the Texans use this as their main helmet, actually. In my opinion, I believe they could do that. They just wouldn't be able to use their red jerseys. I feel like that would be quite the color clash, too much red. If they were to keep this as their main one, they could use that blue helmet for the red jerseys. But these red helmets, I mean, man, they are awesome. You guys can let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this new helmet, because I believe they're phenomenal. This is a really, really big upgrade for the Houston Texans. Here's a closer look at what it looks like on a person's head, basically. You kind of get that. I mean, there is some added light there, so it looks kind of different. But, I mean, this is sick. This helmet is awesome, to say the least. I mean, phenomenal job by the Houston Texans organization, finally coming up with a new helmet. I believe they've been wearing they haven't changed their blue helmet, I believe, since they became a part of the NFL. So this slight change, I think it's getting good publicity, but for me, I love it. It's awesome. So when are they actually going to be using this helmet? It's not going to be all season, which at first that's what I was hoping for. But Gotta get down back to reality and realize that they're not going to do this. The NFL finally reinstated the use of 2 helmets instead of just 1. So they're actually going to be debuting this helmet Week 9 on Thursday Night Football, which is November 3rd, against the Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Hopefully the Eagles use their Kelly green uniforms. I don't even think they've announced that they're going to use those this year. I'd assume that they would. I mean, with everyone else bringing back their throwbacks, I think the Eagles should bring back the Kelly green ones just because those are also a phenomenal look. So then you got, the all blue uniform with this blood or battle red helmet. I mean, yeah, okay, it looked like Christmas, but I still think it would look sick. I love this helmet. You guys can let me know what your thoughts are on this Houston Texans helmet because I absolutely love it, folks. Absolutely love it. So let's move on. Baker Mayfield was just traded to the Carolina Panthers a couple days ago. And so he had to take his physical. And then right after his physical, he was going to have an introductory press conference. I hope I said that right. Sounds like I said that right. But he had that today, in which we're going to read some of his statements and what kind of was asked of him and what he basically said. Sounds pretty mature. It sounds like he's ready to rock and roll. Sounds like he's found a new home and is happy about the new home. And we'll see where it takes him. So Baker was basically asked about his Week 1 matchup where he's going to be facing the Cleveland Browns. Okay? His old team. The team that basically him and that team didn't end on good terms. But he was asked about that matchup and what to expect or what should we expect from him basically. And this is what Baker had to say right after that. He said, I'm not going to sit here and be a robot and tell you that's one I've marked on the calendar already. Mayfield said, one that's not who I am, okay? To me, it's about winning games. Whoever we have marked on the schedule, I'm going to try to win. Obviously, this one has a little more history and personal meaning. But for me, it's about winning and setting the tone for the rest of the year. And however I can help this team do that, I'm going to do. Asked if he was the kind of person who held grudges, Mayfield grinned and said, I try not to. Don't worry about that. I try not to. It's kind of funny, right? Because if he's grinning and saying that, and he says, I try not to, he's definitely holding the grudge against the Cleveland Browns, okay? Listen, Cleveland had many opportunities to sign Baker Mayfield to a contract extension. They just did not believe in their hearts that he was going to be their franchise guy. Plain and simple, that's what it came down to. Do we want Baker Mayfield to be the face of our franchise? They had 2 years to do so. Every time that year was up, they said, nah, not today, okay? Sorry about it. We're just going to have to let you play on your contract for right now. We're not going to franchise tag you because you can't get franchise tagged just yet. But you're not our guy. We're not going to give you a long-term extension because we aren't satisfied or we are not set on the fact that you might be our franchise guy. Yeah, we drafted number 1 overall, blah, blah, blah. We just don't believe that. And then, obviously he gets replaced by Deshaun Watson, who most likely won't play this entire season, if I had to guess. So that means Jacoby Brissett's the next band up, and Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns have basically parted ways quite some time ago. So after he was asked about that Week 1 matchup, Baker was basically, given a question of where, not really a question, but he kind of stated that this is like a new beginning for him. Okay, because he has a chance to get a massive contract extension, kind of rejuvenate his career, paint a different picture about who Baker Mayfield actually is compared to the immaturity stuff or the immature stuff that he's actually been having going on lately. So he kind of talked about that in depth, in which this is kind of what he had to say. He said, so after he said, there's a grudge, he says, but it appears to be worth it at the moment, both for a guy with something to prove and a team that already improved most of the rest of the roster this season, talking about the Carolina Panthers. Baker basically goes on to say, there was a little bit of sacrifice on all three fronts between Cleveland, Carolina, and myself. To me, it's ready for a fresh start first and foremost. I'm extremely grateful for the 4 years I had in Cleveland. It's a great football town. It's the start of my career, however long, God willing, it will be. I'm thankful for it. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of things I learned, but when it comes down to it, it was wanting a fresh start, wanting to be with a coach and a GM that truly wanted me, and just wanting the same thing, and that's to win football games. Plain and simple, that's what it comes down to, winning ball games. And he even highlighted right there. It says it basically comes down to wanting to be with a coach and a GM that truly wanted me. Because Cleveland obviously didn't truly want Baker Mayfield or truly didn't believe that Baker was going to be their franchise quarterback. So now he kind of gets a fresh start over here with the Carolina Panthers. And it just so happens to be that he is in a quarterback battle with Sam Darnold. Yes, Sam Darnold, who we compared to Baker Mayfield just a couple weeks ago, saying, who's the better quarterback? You tell me. Baker has better stats, okay? Can actually reach the touchdown, or reach the end zone, excuse me. Keeps away from the interceptions and all that stuff. But how is it going to go? How is this quarterback battle going to go? Well, the potential for some awkwardness, as this article says, with a quarterback he got to know during the 2018 draft process is the kind of thing you can't deny. But Mayfield said, I think any of that has already been squashed. Okay, I think it's already been done and over with. Actually, Sam reached out, got my number first. We've been talking about how to get the guys together the last minute before camp. It's been great. Sam just wants to win. That's just who he is. Our personalities might be different, but that doesn't mean we don't have the same goal, and that's to win and help this team out. I'm really looking forward to being in that room with him and just challenging each other and elevating each other. He goes on to basically say, I want to be a starter. I want to be a franchise-level quarterback for years, and hopefully it's here in Charlotte. Okay? But for me, it was about competing, getting to a place where the competition is going to make me get better. And I want a level playing field, and I want to elevate the guys around me and be the best version of myself. I know it's not going to be easy by any means. I've got to go earn it, but I'm looking forward to the competition and the challenge. So Baker Mayfield's obviously up for the challenge of competing for that starting quarterback spot with Sam Darnold. Now, who wins? Man, it's kind of like a flip of a coin. You could literally go either way. You could take Sam Darnold, you could roll with him, or you could go with Baker Mayfield, who has history of being the better quarterback, the better overall quarterback. Yes, Sam Darnold had to start his career off with the New York Jets. Okay, the Jets stink. Have for quite some time, basically. Okay, then he comes over to Carolina, still the same old Sam Darnold. Okay, just a dud. But Baker, he rejuvenated a football town. The Cleveland Browns, who used to win championship after championship, even before the Super Bowl era was around, they died away. They basically went away. They were garbage, 0-16 season. Okay, they were really irrelevant until they got Baker Mayfield. Remember all those years? First overall quarterback. You know, just bang, 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 bang. You've seen the jersey with the names on the back of a jersey. I mean, it literally touches the ground. But Baker Mayfield was able to walk into that Cleveland organization, say, I'm the guy, lead them to a playoff berth for the first time in, 15 years or 15, 20 years? It was just ridiculous. And get a win. He has playoff experience. He knows what it takes to win ball games. We've seen his enthusiasm. The maturity level has to get better, but I think Baker Mayfield ultimately can get that done. So, what do I think of Baker Mayfield in Carolina? I like it. I think it's a good fit. I honestly do. I can see him wearing that jersey. I've actually seen multiple mocks of that. It's awesome. Like, it's a great move for Baker and the Carolina Panthers. For the Carolina Panthers to kind of get back on that right track. Hopefully, if Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. They have the receivers in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Their defense is young, flying around. They got J.C. Horn at their cornerback spot, who's going to be a stud. Carolina's set up real nice. And I think, Cleveland knew that Baker was never going to be a part of their franchise anymore after signing Deshaun Watson. But I think this is huge for Baker, too. Like he said, basically rejuvenate his career. Put him on that right path. And hopefully land a long-term contract extension. So, I'm pumped for it. So what number does he get? Well, actually, Baker Mayfield is going to still stick with that number 6. He actually made a deal with Johnny Hecker. I believe it's their punter or the kicker, one of the two, to get that number 6 because, actually, I didn't know this, but the reason Baker Mayfield was number 6 is because when he got the chance to be a walk-on, that was the number they gave him. And what he said, basically, his quote was, "It tells my story," basically. That number shows or tells my story. 6, being a walk-on, getting the Heisman, getting drafted number 1 overall, leading the Browns to their first playoff win and to the playoffs, basically. And now just a new chapter in his life. So he's sticking with the number 6. He's pumped. I think his conference went good today. He showed really high levels of maturity. So we'll see where Baker Mayfield or how Baker Mayfield does this upcoming season with the Carolina Panthers, if he even gets that starting job, which training camp's right around the corner, so who knows? It could be his, it could be Sam's. You can let me know. Who do you think should take the starting job in Carolina, Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? So let's switch gears, and talk about Le'Veon Bell, okay? Yes, he's boxing Adrian Peterson in August on the Jake Paul card, I believe. But doesn't seem like he's going back to the gridiron. Doesn't seem that way. And actually, this man right here, Le'Veon Bell, said, "Look, this is not a one-off. This will be an introduction to everyone on what I've been doing." He said he doesn't plan on playing in the NFL this season. So when he says this isn't just a one-off, that basically means, look, my NFL career, put it off to the side, basically done. My boxing career, I'm going to show everybody what I've been working on, how hard I've been working, and what I got to showcase. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to knock Adrian Peterson's teeth in. Good luck, pal. Okay, AP is just going to come in there and make you look silly. You're going to wish you returned to the football field, but it is what it is. I don't like Le'Veon Bell. I think he's just a whiny little bitch, in my opinion. Look, yeah, he was great with the Pittsburgh Steelers, but every year after that, when he left and went to the Jets, I said, hey, listen, he's going to be a 400-yard guy, 500-yard guy. He's really not going to make any noise. And literally every year since he left Pittsburgh, he slowly got worse and worse. And then he says, oh, I hate Andy Reid, or I'll never play under Andy Reid again, just because they had some ill will towards each other. Andy Reid's one of the greatest coaches of all time to ever do it. I don't like Le'Veon Bell just because he's got a hot head, basically, or a hot head. He thinks he's all high and mighty, and really he's nothing. Okay, he'll never go in the Hall of Fame. So sorry about it. I mean, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Fame, but I doubt that because that relationship ended very, very poorly. So I guess we're going to have to expect to see Le'Veon Bell in the ring, okay, not the octagon, in the boxing ring, putting together some shows. Hopefully he, loses against AP and then gets his career rejuvenated in the boxing aspect of things. So good luck to Le'Veon Bell. This tweet here was from Ari Mirov. So, hey, he's focusing on his boxing career, and we can't blame him because the NFL, basically his NFL career, is over and done with. So last but not least, some breaking news, and about an hour or two before the show. The New England Patriots have decided to trade wide receiver N'Keal Harry to the Chicago Bears. And let me tell you, this man, well, supposed to be a stud, turned out to be nothing, okay? There was times where I've went on many rants on N'Keal Harry, but I watched him for the first couple weeks, and the dude would literally walk his routes, and I was like, dude, come on. Like, my grandma can run faster than you. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is piss poor effort, basically, to say the least. And he had Tom Brady as his fucking quarterback. Get your shit together. Okay, you should be one of the top receivers. Do you not know your playbook? N'Keal Harry, he's gonna be just fine, but he's never gonna be a top caliber or a top tier receiver in the National Football League. It's just plain and simple. He's never going to do that. He'll never make the Hall of Fame unless he finds some way to all of a sudden become a superstar, but I don't see that happening. He never puts any effort into what he's doing. He thinks he should just be, or he is the greatest, so he really doesn't have to put in that extra work to be the greatest. That's kind of what it looks like on tape and when you watch him on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. So I've never really been on the hype train of N'Keal Harry. I'm sure a lot of people have fell off, especially when he came into the National Football League. But now he gets a chance to, like Baker, rejuvenate his career with the Chicago Bears. In return, the Patriots will receive a 2024 7th-round draft pick. So you can tell right there, this man, okay, really wasn't worth a damn. Okay? Bills basically said, you want N'Keal? All right, you got a 7th-round draft pick? All right, send it over. Give it to us. We'll take it. We'll turn that 7th-rounder into a stud compared to this guy. I mean, doesn't want to work, even though he's here every single day, and the motto is, do your job. He's not doing his job. So N'Keal Harry now joins a Bears wide receiver room that is, well, quite stacked. I mean, they have depth at all, or in that entire wide receiver room. Here's a quick look at the Bears wide receiver room. They have Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones Jr., who's a rookie. Byron Pringle comes over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Now N'Keal Harry. Dante Pettis, Tajay Sharp, who actually played for the Minnesota Vikings. Skull. Equanimus St. Brown. Good for him. David Moore, Isaiah Coulter, Nasimba Webster, Daz Newsome, Chris Fink probably, and Kevin Shaw, who is an undrafted rookie. You got to expect that probably about half of these guys are going to be gone by the time training camp's over and done with. Probably that undrafted rookie, Chris Fink, Nasimba Webster, Isaiah Coulter, Tajay Sharp. I mean, I could see those guys kind of getting out of there. Maybe, Velus Jones Jr., who knows, he's a rookie. Maybe he shows some promise. But that's a lot of depth there in that wide receiver room. Going into training camp, they have a lot to figure out. Who's going to be our wide receivers? Who's going to be the studs? And they got Justin Fields throwing them the ball. So I believe the Chicago Bears will get it figured out, even though they are potentially the worst team in the NFC North at this point in time. I think the Detroit Lions are better, and I think the Detroit Lions are actually getting constantly better, especially with their head coach, Motor City Dan Campbell, MCDC at the helm. I think he's leading that team in the right direction. But then you got the Minnesota Vikings. Look, we're either going to get first or second in the division this year. Okay, we're studs. We have it. If you look at us on paper, we're a playoff team, okay? Potential Super Bowl team. But you never know. Then you got the Green Bay Packers. Okay, what are they going to look like without Davante Adams? You never know. They could be really good because, Allen Lazard has actually shown and proven that he's a solid wide receiver. A very good wide receiver, I believe. And does he do the same things that Davante Adams do? So the Bears have got some things to figure out here with the addition of N'Keal Harry, but if they went and added N'Keal Harry, you have to think that he's going to make that starting roster, whether he's the one guy, the two guy, or that slot guy. You never know what's going to happen with this man right here, even though I'm not too fond of him myself. So you guys can let me know, what do you think the Bears are going to do with N'Keal Harry? How do you think they're going to use him? Do you think this was a good trade overall for the New England Patriots? Or who won this trade, the Patriots or the Bears? Okay, because that's a good one. I have no idea who won this one. If I had to guess, probably New England. Got rid of a garbage asset, basically. Gave him to the Bears. Took that 7th rounder and said, see you later. So With that being said, there's nothing else we need to talk about today. That is kind of the gist of what happened in the NFL with the updates and the news. So go enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Go over to the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate. Check out the latest video or my latest video. It's a pretty good one, okay? And then tomorrow we'll have another one drop at 4 p.m. Central Time. I'll be sharing that out as well. Go hit that subscribe. And if you're on this show on Facebook, like, share, follow the page on YouTube, hit that subscribe and that notification button. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe out there. Also, be happy. Be happy. Try to be happy in any way possible. Have a great rest of your day. And you just got your fix with the Wicks.